Yo, what is good? Welcome to Talks with Henrice. This is episode 11, our final podcast episode of the regular season. Kind of sad to say that. Fancy Decker reporter, how we doing?
What's going on?
I'm doing well.
We'll let Matt go first on what game he wants to talk about because it seems like it's like those cartoons, Fancy, when they got like the steam going above their head.
Yeah,
It's like he joined the call today, and it's just
yeah.
little stuff going. So let us hear it, Matt.
Yeah, so as you can tell, still a little butthurt about the Saturday game. Great game, which we knew it was going to be a great matchup. Lions get another primetime game, and don't disappoint, but came down to the end and
Got to check in.
Didn't get the result we wanted. Here's what I'll say is Decker reported. Okay. Great play call. I mean, it was amazing, right? Just didn't work out the way we drew it up. Tried the trick play and didn't work out. So here's what I got out of the presser was, I don't know if you guys saw it. It was actually pretty funny of Dan Campbell trying to find a place to put his gum and not yell at the reporters at the same time. But his passion of, you guys go down and score, we're going to win this game, right? That was his mindset. That's what he told him. That's what Goff, ended up communicating to, is that was the game plan. We go down and score. We're going for 2 because we're going to win this game. So it's one of those weird scenarios where it happened. He goes for 2. The dumb penalty of, the ref clearly got it wrong, but, as the Cowboys fans are going to keep pointing out, is, he was still lined up in a spot. That's a flag, that they say, whatever. But basically, I love the Fancy. You've asked me this how many times about Dan Campbell, right?
Oh yeah, that's my favorite thing to talk about with him.
Yeah, you ask me every single time about taking these gambles, doing these things. Again, I'm going to tell you the same thing, Fancy, right? Is I love that mindset of, he told his guys, we're going for the win. So even though it was the stupidest game call, when they get the penalty from the 7 or 8 yard line, they still go for 2. I hate it because it's such a low percentage play at that point. But he told his guys, and he's going to stick to his word, and that's, for better or for worse, that's who he is, right? So that's kind of how it is.
That was the game that you fell asleep when we were all texting about it.
And, I know.
And they got that touchdown, and I was like, they did it. Like, no way. Things gonna wake up. It's gonna be the best day ever. And they call it. I'm like, no way. They go for it again, and then that was a penalty that backed him up. And I'm like, there's no way they're gonna go for it. They're gonna kick it now, right? And then there was a defensive penalty. And I'm like, all right, like, because they weren't gonna score, and it was a defensive penalty, and they got another chance. And I'm like, no, like, you have to get this is way too many opportunities that you've missed now. You have to go for it.
The universe is saying to stop.
I'm like, oh my gosh, like the game that Fancy falls asleep on is like the most insane. Like I was like literally, I had like 12 people text me that aren't even Lions or Cowboys fans. They're just like, what is going on? And I'm like, I don't know. This is the most insane end game ever. I would be pissed off as a fan, but it's like you said, Matt. I mean, you love a coach that has that much faith in a team, and you love a coach that has that much, confidence. But it's one of those things where like we said, there's got to be a line that's drawn though, because if that's playoff time to get you guys into the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl or something like that, you just gotta play the high percentage play that you can't be just because you don't want to go back on your word. It's like that would have been a game that would have been really nice for you guys to win, and but it just didn't happen. So
I saw, and I do like Dan Campbell a lot. I really do. It's like I can't like the Lions as a Packers fan, but as far as like a team that I probably have a ton of respect for, like in the NFC, it's definitely that whole organization. And then my next favorite NFC team is the Niners, and then the next is probably the Rams.
And
then the next is the Cardinals,
Cowboys,
then the Buccaneers.
So when the Packers don't make the playoffs, which team are you rooting for then?
I'll probably be watching the Thunder play basketball.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But but
I mean, go for it. Good.
Oh, so like Cable. The thing is like if your whole team, like it took me a little bit to realize this though. If your whole team is built on doing that, everybody knows the mindset, and it's like that's just as normal as everybody else going for the field goal, going for the points, going for the the point after touchdown, field goal, not and everything else, not going for it on fourth down. But even then, the success rate, which is a uh, NFL like high, like the highest in the NFL at 30%. But it's like if you double that, that's not passing in most colleges. And
Yeah.
it's like that's not a good stat, even though it's the best stat. And it's like
Yeah.
where a 60% fail rate is what
I think a lot of times too. Like, I think we talked about it before. It was like that fake punt that you guys ran in that game, Matt, was awesome. Like I was like, holy shit! It was the perfect time, the perfect
Right.
execution.
Yeah.
But it's like
Oh yeah.
at the same time, you have to tell teams that you will take that risk. But when you go for it, and then there's a penalty that backs you up, you go for it again, and then there's a defensive penalty that bails you out again. You got to kick it and tell teams like we're not always going to go for it. We're going to go for it when we're comfortable going for it. Because then it's like
Yeah.
I mean, going in the playoffs, you basically told teams like, hey, 4th and 20, we're going like we don't care. Like it's so it's like you got rid of that element of surprise of like, oh fuck, they just did that. Where
Yeah.
like now you like overdid it. You like you know what I mean? It's like you gotta have like there's a fine line of like doing it too much and doing it in like nonsense. And it's like I feel like that was like the line was crossed over the last
Yeah.
5 weeks now. It's like
And like I
That's
you
a
said,
got too
good
many
point.
opportunities. You just gotta take it at that point.
yeah, like I said, I think, but for him telling his team, we're gonna win this, we're going for it, we're winning it. I think maybe he could have made the right decision, but think about it this way: he tells his players, "We're going for 2, we're going for the win," and then he goes back on his word.
Well, you can go
And
back on your word though after you have an
I think
offensive
that's
penalty and then you go for it again and then you get a defensive penalty. It's like, all right, guys, we had 2 shots at it. We didn't get
yeah.
it. I'm kicking the field goal or kicking
That's
the field
why
goal.
that's why I think that was his
Or PAT
mindset.
or whatever. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think that's what his mindset
Yeah.
was now I have to be stubborn.
Right. Because I mean, a good
And
coach doesn't care. Like in a way, you don't care about your players. It's like I'm gonna do what's best for you guys in the long run. Because it's like
yeah.
now you got faith in your defense coming back, stopping them, going to overtime, and whatever else. It's like
That's the thing. That's exactly the point,
yeah,
Jake. That I was trying to think. Like you worded the best. Is like it's like I agree with Matt as far as like it's like we're gonna go for it. We're gonna win.
yeah,
It's like having that faith in your offense and your special teams and everything
Yep.
else to conduct themselves and do what they do the best in the league, or it's like kick the field goal and then it's like we're just gonna keep winning this game in quarter number 5.
yeah.
It's like that's where I'm kind of like in between both of you guys. I get
Yeah.
it. Like it's like win it now or just hey, we win it the next
Yeah,
quarter.
like I respect it because it's like you go for it. I like the call, the original call. I'm like, let's go, like let's do it. And then they
Oh yeah,
scored, and I'm like, holy crap, they did it, and that's perfect. But then it got called back. I'm like, like I get it if you want to go for it again because it worked, but like let's see something else drawn up. And then they didn't get it, and I'm like, oh no. And then there's a defensive penalty, and then in my mind, it's like at that coach as a coach, it's like, hey guys, you had 2 chances. Like we got to play it safer because we got to win this game. Our defense is gonna get us the ball back, and it's a whole different promise. Then you know what I'm saying? You got to like rebuttal your words back a little bit.
yeah.
Be like,
It's
hey,
like,
we gave you
well,
guys the chances. It was unfortunate. It was out of our thing. I'll take the credit for that, but let's kick it. Let's get our defense to stop, and then we're going to come back and beat them in the overtime. It's like that's got to be the mindset. If you're going to be a one and done on what you say, you're not going to go very far, especially in the NFL, because those type of things are going to happen that are just so out of your control that things
Yeah.
change. I mean, you got to change up the game plan a little bit. But enough
did
Lion talk, because I mean, hey, who wants to talk about the Lions? You know what I mean?
Hey,
But Fancy,
we'll talk
anything?
about him again next week. Don't worry.
Yeah, when they blow the number 2 seed.
Okay.
And when they lose
Oh.
against the Rams.
You mean blow it like as in pleasure them or drop it? Oh,
Both.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, hey, Green Bay, the team I saw against a absolutely broken Vikings team. So it's not like a huge win, but the way we played against the Panthers, it was definitely nice to see us bounce back and kind of have our shit together, have a good defensive game as well. Was at least enough to say, well, maybe there's a chance if we get into the playoffs that we don't embarrass ourselves. And so, I mean, Jordan Love, he didn't have a whole lot of yards, but anytime a quarterback has single digit incompletions with at least 20 plus pass attempts, I think is a good game, And I mean, he scored I think 3 touchdowns and I mean, we've seen a few other names pop up. I think it was Reed and Melton in the back downfield receiving for him is doing good. Aaron Jones back, like thank goodness. And something we've talked about at work, everybody should know by now. I work um, with like the entire Cowboys fan base, and it's given the fact that we have the opportunity to possibly make it to the playoffs with Watson, Dobbs, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon all cycling through the season as being hurt and out is it's like, wow, who would have thought we'd make it this far with the team that we had at the beginning, let alone with the amount of injuries we've had with uh, Jair being out a couple games and then him getting suspended, by the team for one game and everything else. It's like it's uh it's been a wild ride, and I mean, not the best record, better than everybody expected for the Packers already. Even if we lose to the Bears, which Matt LaFleur is 9-0 against the Bears, so I don't see that being an issue. But then again, we had a chance for the playoffs last year and we choked it, which I think is ultimately what caused Rodgers to leave was just management issues and a lot of that's all in the past. I don't want to be a Cowboys fan and just live there, but yeah. So definitely a good game going into the last one, winning in, and as the way it lies, go to AT&T Stadium and you know
Oh,
just
good.
keep our vacation home a little visit.
I mean,
And
how excited are you about the growth of Jordan Love, like as we've progressed through the season? And now, I mean, obviously he gets a chance to, if he wins this game, go to the playoffs.
Yeah,
It's got to be
before you answer that,
exciting,
Fancy,
right?
I will say too. I mean, that's a great question, and I do want you to answer that, Fancy. But I will say, when you were just talking there, you said you didn't want to go in the playoffs to be embarrassed. In my opinion, like there's playoff appearances that are impressive to me, and I don't expect them to go far. If that makes
right,
any sense. I don't know if that
right,
is word the right way, but it's like they made the playoffs. That's it for like like that's the peak for
right,
them because that season that's more than they should have ever done. Me and you talked about in the beginning of the season betting the Packers over wins, and it was like 5.5, 6.5. It's like
yeah,
you've exceeded that, and then making playoffs is like the cherry on top. So it's like
yeah.
whether you guys go into the first game and get blown out 42-0, it's like we made it to the playoffs when we never should have. So it's like for me, I mean, that's my take. I just want to put that in there, but I was just like,
Oh,
I don't
absolutely.
see it as disappointment at all. Like,
Yeah, no, I mean, we're 8-8. We win. We win again. We finish our regular season with with a quarterback that in the last 3 decades, like nobody gave like any stock to, and so to have a possibly over 500 season, not bad. And Jordan Love's progression over the year, to answer you, Matt, I mean, it's been surprising. Not, I don't want to say in a way of like I was on the fence. I know I've got Packers fans
I
as
messaged you about
friends
it too last year when he
that
came in.
yeah, they were like, is he that guy? Is he not that guy? He isn't that guy. He may be. You talked about him playing against the Eagles last
Yeah,
year when he went in,
I was like,
and then he
damn,
looked
this guy looks
good
good.
and
Yeah,
everything else. I'm like, well, people look good one game. We've seen
yep,
that a lot this year,
absolutely.
where they've had a great first game with their team, with their trade and everything else. So I definitely like the way he looks. And if we could just have everybody 100% healthy for the next couple weeks, I
Yeah,
think would
if
be our
if he
best.
if he had Watson in the lineup,
Yeah, if
for these
Watson,
last couple
Dobbs,
games,
both of our running backs, Reed, like all those guys. I mean,
yeah,
I think that's a really good offense. And then once again, the question, like I've asked you guys before, the over under defense, offensive scoring, and stopping. It's if we score over, if Jordan Love gets 3 touchdowns, I think we're in a good position to win as long as our defense can hold up. And I know a lot of people were defending um, our defensive coordinator, and I'm like, dude, against who? Like against who? Yeah, like it was a good game, and I'm glad we won. They are professionals. No disrespect to the Vikings, besides that which they deserve. Um, but it's like that Vikings team is nowhere near who any. I mean, even the Buccaneers. It's like let alone the Lions, the Eagles, the Niners. and the fucking Cowboys that you're gonna have to look at going into the playoffs as well. So it's like it's been a great season, but still, I mean, I still like Everest. I feel like we're at the base of it still.
Yeah. I think that's what I was looking up to see, because before the season started, they reached out to him. They extended his contract for a year extension or whatever. Obviously, then this would be um next year would be his last year on that contract. It's like, as a fan, has he earned enough now to extend him for 4 or 5 years? Like, he's not gonna get it. I mean, and so I guess what I'm saying is, Jalen Hurts had a Super Bowl run, right? And then he just got the mega deal. It's like,
Right.
now is that window where Jordan Love played good, but your team wasn't good everywhere enough to be at that level of making the Super Bowl, right? So it's like, do you sign him now to that 4 or 5 year deal for way less before he starts to get to that level? Or do you still just wait and then gamble that he's not going to get a huge contract at the end of next year?
I say sign him.
Right.
I mean, sign him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
That's it's gonna
I
be
can't put
the
him.
cheapest option.
I can't put a price on it
Yeah.
because the market's so skewed thanks to a few
Right.
other quarterbacks that demanded and
Right.
got
Ridiculous
and
money.
yeah. So and I don't want that to happen because I want, in the Tom Brady mindset, I want him to recognize, don't take it all so we can build around you and support
That's
you.
what I mean, yeah, and I think signing him within this next year is going to be huge, because he still has not played good enough to get a top 10 contract, right? It's like, you're not gonna
Right.
get $300 million. You're gonna
Right.
get 5 years for 100 or something, it's like, and it's still a good amount to live
Oh
off of,
yeah.
but it's like,
Yeah.
but it saves you guys all that room.
Yeah, but the Packers, MO this whole time is they don't play the quarterback carousel. They don't play
They lock him up.
you know what I mean?
Brett Favre,
That's what they
Rodgers, yeah.
like to do, is so he's showing now what they were hoping he could do. So that almost
So now it's like all
makes
the
me,
answers are there, yeah.
yeah, that makes me lean towards, I think that's what they're going to do, is just now keep him, lock him up, and they don't want to play the game of, I mean, how many teams this year have we
Oh,
seen with all these different quarterbacks? You know what I mean? They don't like to do that. So I think that's in their best interest too.
it's gotta be an NFL record for the most started quarterbacks this season or something. It
Oh,
has
it's
to
gotta
so
be.
crazy.
I
Yeah.
wonder if that's a stat we should look that into one
Yeah.
day. But speaking of players and all that other stuff, we have our DK results. Fancy if we can give Matt a round of applause before we get over there for getting out of the double digits and getting into the triple digits with us and winning this week.
Appreciate it, guys.
Congratulations, Matt. It was our closest matchup between all three of us.
Thank
We had
you.
some ugly lineups going through, but Matt, let's hey, you're the champion this week, so you take us to glory.
Yep. So just like we kind of thought, Stafford did put together, a good game. So
He was gonna say, just like we had thought, I won. Like, I thought that's where you.
no.
It's like, no way.
No, I mean Puka, I've been high on him all year.
How is that not on fire?
And again, puts up great numbers, not on fire. Doesn't make any sense. Olave disappointments. I did. So I don't know the genius in me, but I really wanted to pick, a Giants wide receiver, and he looked like the one at the cheap rate to do well, and he did. So I mean that worked out for me, obviously. Goddard coming back for the Eagles has been huge. And so that hit there. And then again, if you can get 10 points out of your defense, you've got a chance to win it. Now you guys,
we all pick good defenses.
You guys did great by picking the Texans, 21 points. But yeah, obviously that kept me afloat by keeping at least a 10-point defense too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you talk about Wan'Dale Robinson. It's, if you look at a lot of the past lineups that we go through, I mean, you've had like one guy like that every time. That's how you kind of you've gotten away with some of your lineups, is getting some of these guys like Nakua and Stafford, and it's like you're getting these guys, and Olave probably cost you a good amount too.
Yep.
It's like that's the cost of it, is you have to find a player that's going to do good that is a low price. But Fancy with the highest scoring player with Travis Etienne this week. Zay Flowers had a great game. I went with Isaiah Likely for the Ravens. a good week to have him and Zay Flowers. And then me and Fancy had George Pickens. Fancy didn't actually have him, but he had him mentally going.
I could have sworn I had Pickens. Like I
Fancy's
was
like George.
I was like cheering so much, and then I was like,
hey, and I said I picked Jason Stidham, dude, and I said if he gave me 15, I'd be happy. And 13.56 ain't bad, for that shitty looking lineup. Who really screwed me is if McCaffrey had an average week, I would have won. I'm only 8 points behind. If McCaffrey just had a normal week of his 25, 20, 30 points,
True.
I mean, I win. That's where I spent like 10K on him. So it's like, it
yeah,
just didn't work out. I picked CMC on a bad week. He got hurt and everything and whatever else. That leads us to this week. These are all obviously the Sunday slates. I know there's 2 games on Saturday that we're missing out on. But if you guys look at mine, you see a lot of Giants there, man. I'm padding up the Giants because I know the Eagles secondary is trash. I don't know what's going. If the Eagles win, I'm happy, and if they lose, at least I picked the right lineup with this. But Tyrod Taylor looked good for me, man. I mean, Fancy, we've talked about it a couple of times. I feel like he's just gotten the shit end of a lot of deals, a lot of places he's been. Like in LA, that's how Justin Herbert got his job, right? The punctured lung, or his trainer or whatever. It's like some crazy stuff has happened through Tyrod Taylor's career, but I've always felt like he's been a great player. But not to go through every single one of my guys, but the reason I picked Nakua and Hopkins, Matt, I think you have more details on this stuff. For those of you listening that bet or do these type of lineups, this is the time of year where these players have player incentives. So they need a certain amount of catches, certain amount of sacks, certain amount of yards, whatever it may be, to hit a certain bonus. When it comes to Nakua for me and for Matt, Nakua needs, I think, what Matt, 4 catches, 27 yards.
So 2 different records, rookie records he can break. 4 catches is all he needs for the reception, and then 29 yards for the yardage as a rookie.
Yeah, and it's one of those games that they're playing the 49ers. They want to win. The 49ers will probably bench their guys because they clinched number 1 seed, and so Nakua is going to be out there 100+ yards. Just trying to get a win, trying to get the rookie records.
Well, no, I know why you picked him. Is
why?
Because he's got Carson Wentz thrown to him. They named Carson Wentz.
I did not see that.
Yes. So
I want to take him back now.
So
watch Cooper Kupp and Nakua just be awful now. Like they just can't do anything out there. Like Carson Wentz just burned him out.
Yep.
I mean, hey, Carson Wentz is better than Jalen Hurts, right, Fancy? But let's. Oh, and then Hopkins. Hopkins also has a contract deal where you need a certain amount of catches to hit it. But look out for those this week. If you guys are betting, Chris Jones, I believe, needs 1 sack and he gets like a $2 million bonus. I mean, that's a huge bonus to get
crazy
for 1 sack. And so that's a big one. Maybe bet over. It's probably going to be over 7.5 or over 0.75 rather than over 0.5 because they're not going to count those half sacks. But that's something to look into. But Matt taking Etienne after coming off the hot week, trying to fade Fancy. But look at Fancy. Look at Fancy though. Kraft, Reed, Aaron Jones. Like, I mean, he just stacked up on the Packers this week. He's on it. Fancy, I have the Packers defense. I'm right there with you. Like,
it's a game we got to win. It's a team that we can and normally beat. And we have to win. These guys have to get yards. They have to. They have to perform. If those are my only 3 fires, that's fine. But if those guys aren't on fire, then that probably means we didn't make it in again. Yeah. So that was my thought process, and I probably would have picked more of them. I was really like. I was like, it has to be.
He couldn't find Brett Favre on there, Matt. It wasn't there. I don't know if it was too low or what it was, and he couldn't find him.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Matt, but I picked Zamir White in hopes that Josh Jacobs doesn't come back this week. He's been lingering with the knee issue and everything. But with all of those people getting benched just because, you're paying them so much money. It's like, why, you're out of playoffs, why play them? I think that's kind of the idea that you maybe had to. It's a different scenario. Raiders aren't going to make playoffs, but with Elijah Mitchell,
that was my mindset.
Get a lot of work. I bet you he doesn't even get any work at all.
Yeah, that was my mindset on these matchups. Is I try to look at what games matter.
Yep.
Right. Who's playing for
who's
playoffs.
not going to be benched after the first quarter.
Yep. And then same thing. So CMC, they're not going to let him touch the field. Right. So the next man up is going to be Elijah Mitchell. He's got the skill. He just can't stay healthy. So now that he has a chance to get out there, again, Jacksonville game, that's a must win. So ETN hopefully lights that up. Carr, same thing. And then so I did my stack with Shaheed with Carr, and then Trey McBride. I've picked him. You've probably seen him either in my flex or at tight end position
every
probably
week.
last like 4 weeks, right? Because he's playing really well.
Yeah, he is.
And
I
then
came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then so obviously you see like 4 guys in that Atlanta New Orleans game because hopefully it's going to be a good game. But the reason I really picked it is because the season comes down to that game for those guys. So hopefully they ball out.
Yeah, and that's the reason I went heavy on Giants is because, like I said, Eagles' pass defense has been awful. I think they're going to bench some guys because it's like they're not going. You know what I mean? Depending on what's going to happen and go on, because I believe all of the games pretty much. I think besides the Lions, when do the Lions play?
It's a great question.
Because they don't play on Sunday.
Yeah.
They're Saturday night, right?
Is it Saturday night?
No, there's no. It's at 1 o'clock.
Also,
normal.
none of us picked any Lions, huh? No. Wow, Matt. Wow. Anyways, but yeah, I will just say before we move on, and it's not Japs versus you guys. I did look at Brandon Cooks, and I did look at guys like Flacco, and I did look at guys. Who's the other one that I saw in your guys' thing? But for me, like Brandon, I do love the ETN pick. I do love the Ridley pick. But for me, with guys like Flacco, I'm worried like they go up at half and then they shut him down, right? And then same thing with Brandon Cooks. He's the number 2 guy, right? He's starting to get hot. It's like, do the Cowboys even? They're probably going to be up 20 points by half. It's like he might get a catch or 2, and then he'll be done. And Michael Gallup and all these other 4th, 5th string guys are going to be out there. Like that's where I was worried about it. Not that who knows what happens, but that's where I just stayed away a little bit. But I love the Hopkins. I love the Ridley. I love the Etienne. I love the Bijan. I love the Aligier. I love those picks and Derek Carr, like you said, they're playing for playoffs.
Oh God, not Derek Carr.
I'm surprised you didn't pick him as your favorite quarterback.
Yeah.
But leading into that, this is obviously the playoff picture through week 17. So a lot of teams eliminated. And we're getting there, boys. I'm sad about it. I'm also excited a little bit. But when football goes away, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I saw like a cool stat that popped up that I just randomly thought about was in 2023 the live broadcast the most watched live broadcast in America out of the last the highest rated 100, right? 96 of them were the NFL.
Wow.
That's crazy to think about, right? Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
The other one was like the Academy Awards, one was like a political program, and then I think one was like something else, like some other big event. But it's like the NFL is, it's Mount Rushmore, So I'm definitely gonna miss it, but we gotta just enjoy it while it's here, But that AFC, man, it's slimming down. It is slimming down. On the AFC side, Matt, do you have the info for us on what about like the Texans and Steelers? Like what's going on there? Like what do they need?
Yeah, so obviously it's, what's going to happen is it's a swap out game for divisional for the Texans or the Colts. It's win and you're in for that game. They play each other. The winner of that game gets in the playoffs. What you'll see in the crazy scenario, again, Bills play the Dolphins. So Bills win and they're in. Next scenario breakdown is Steelers have to win, which they're going to win against the Ravens if they sit.
Why are you guys laughing?
That's not who you picked, Matt. I don't know why you think the Steelers are going to win.
Yeah, you'll see that was a production error, clearly.
Yeah, we just want to clearly err on this. For the people that do watch, you guys have heard us make picks beforehand and say, yeah, I made this pick before Jamar Chase was out. Yeah, I made this pick before CJ Stroud was ruled out. All this other stuff. So we've been screwed on picks all year around. And now Matt wants to say that since he found out Lamar's not playing, which you should have known that when they clinched the number 1 seed. That's
it wasn't announced yet. Injuries are different.
You think
as the week
number 1 seed though. I feel like this is like injuries. I feel like we would do it more on rather than this. You're telling me if I told you, hey, do you think the number 1 quarterback on the number 1 seed team that's clinched is gonna play last week? What would you say? No. So that's the ending argument.
All I'm
I know you're a lawyer and you'll probably win in this.
All I'm telling you is, have we announced our picks yet?
Okay, let me ask you this.
And I'm going on record of telling you, I submitted a pick to you ahead of time.
Mhm.
However, we're gonna go on this broadcast right now, and I'm telling you that was an incorrect pick,
Okay,
and that
let me get some answers then. When we have submitted the picks, hasn't that always been when the picks have been locked in every single week?
No,
that hasn't been. So we've had changes in the past.
No, I've rolled with it. I've just taken it as it is. This is different. This is different.
Keep going on what you were saying though.
So I think then another important one is Pittsburgh. Obviously with all the people sitting out for Baltimore, they should win this game. So if they win and then actually Buffalo loses, then the Steelers get in. Pittsburgh
need to win and someone has to lose.
Yep, Pittsburgh needs to win, which they should, but then it's going to come down to the very last game of the season,
Sunday night
of the Buffalo Miami is going to decide that one. Next scenario,
worse when it's out of your.
Yeah, next scenario would be Jacksonville also then could lose.
For the Steelers.
What's that?
You mean for the Texans?
Steelers win, and then Jacksonville also loses is another scenario for them to get in.
Okay.
And then otherwise they would need Houston and Indianapolis to tie. So
they don't. I mean, they have a decent chance though, because that Bills Dolphins game is gonna be a toss up. We'll get into it, but then Fancy. I mean, you picked the Titans over the Jaguars, so I mean, one of those two games needs to hit for them, and they're in.
So sorry, and then so that last scenario, then by way of me already talking about it. So Jacksonville is the other one that's a win and you're in scenario. So obviously, if those things don't happen,
what about the Texans? If they win, they're already in.
Yeah, so that it's either Colts are in or Houston is in. Whoever wins that,
we basically have a playoff game right away.
Yeah, so that is for all purposes. That's the first playoff game we have this season because one of those teams gets eliminated from the playoffs.
There's no other.
Correct.
Scenarios.
Correct.
Okay. Wow. I mean, hey, good for them. I'll be honest with you. I would love to. So what is it then? We would see. Like, is there a way we can see Texans and Steelers both in?
Yes. So if Buffalo loses.
So Buffalo loses, they don't make playoffs?
Yeah, Buffalo's either number 2 seed or out.
Yeah. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, if Steelers
well, I want to change my
pick. Obviously, if Steelers still have
my pick.
Steelers still have to switch that, right? Steelers have to win, and then it's going to come down to. That's why you'll see in a second. That's why I was wavering so hard on the Dolphins or the Bills. Wow. Bills is a must-win.
We basically have another playoff game. There's 2 playoff games. I know it's week 18. I'm just saying, like, these guys are coming out loud. Everyone's coming to play.
Everything's on the line. Yeah.
And divisional. I mean, it's not up to like another team to knock them out. I mean, it's Texans, Colts against each other, and Dolphins, Bill. Wow, I did not know all that. Wow.
Yeah,
it's gonna be some good football to watch then.
Yep.
Yeah, finally, hopefully.
And when I guess we'll get into that, but and then what about the NFC side? That's probably more of a headache, isn't it?
NFC is going to be. It was already hard for me to explain AFC, except it kind of makes sense with the must-win games. What you're going to see out of the NFC is you can have some obviously the East is going to have that, it's very important for the Eagles to win, and then Cowboys lose for them to swap.
Did you find out, like, let's say Cowboys lose, which we all want, and the Eagles win but Lions win.
So
anything happen than that? Like,
so Cowboys are going to clinch if they win, just flat out. Let let me see what happens with.
Because you'd mentioned that, and I wasn't 100% sure. I don't know if Cowboys lose, the Eagles win, and
So I
Lions win
still
if
don't
Lions
have.
take 2.
I know you said that, and I don't have the tiebreaker, so I don't know.
Can you imagine Lions Packers?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. But
I
yeah,
don't want it to change. I want
No,
Yeah.
that's what I said too.
I want to play
And that's what's
Cowboys.
crazy is like I'm okay with the 5 seed. Like I'm okay with because I guess the way I mean, you know what, Matt, keep going with your in the hunt. Otherwise, we'll never get to it. So keep going through the thing.
No, you're good. So then obviously the other weird scenarios kind of come down to Seattle can jump in there if Green Bay falls on their face and loses. So Green Bay loses, then Seattle can jump in.
But Seattle needs to win also.
Yep. So Seattle wins and then Green Bay loses, they're in. Green
Packers, Seattle
Bay, they just
lose.
need to win. Green Bay just needs to win and they're in. So essentially, I guess that's a playoff game for them too. Found another one.
No, divisional. Packers Bears.
Let's see who else. Who else do we saw? Oh, Saints. Saints is another big one. That they need to win, and they can clinch the title. But that also comes down to then the Tampa game. So Tampa needs to also win. And then sorry. And so that comes down to that's obviously the most important game I would say is the Falcons Saints. Because you can go from a title to out of the playoffs in that game.
Wow.
And I think that's about it.
Yeah.
I will say what I was going to get at is I am okay with the Eagles being at the 5 seed. Because the way I view it, I seriously, this is what my hopes are out of it. Eagles beat the Bucks, which I think with how wishy-washy the Bucks have been, I think the Eagles are just a way better rounded team than the Bucks. Like they don't scare me. I think every other team above them, maybe besides the Packers, for the Eagles like level of like talent, scares me. Like the Rams, Lions, Cowboys, because if we're off, any of those teams can beat us. But the way I see it is, if the Eagles beat the Bucks, I would love for the Packers to beat the Cowboys, right? So then they would play the 49ers, then we would play the winner of Lions, Rams. Or, if the Cowboys beat the Packers, I would love to see the Rams beat the Lions then, and then I'm hoping the Rams win or the Packers win, and then they would play the juggernaut, right? And then we either play the Cowboys or the Rams or the Lions, right? So it's like that's what I'm hoping for. But man, we've got some matchups. Like it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, I mean, we're all gonna be biased on who we think is gonna, you know what I mean? We're all gonna be biased, but like, is there any team that you guys like? To me, when I look at this, I see one team, and it's one team that I'm scared of. I don't know about you guys, like, but for me, it's the Ravens. I'm terrified of the Ravens.
Oh, I was gonna say NFC or the whole.
I mean, I guess you could do AFC. For AFC, I'm terrified of the Ravens. I think every other team beatable. I think every other team is like for our teams. I think like the NFC has the most talent. I think the Ravens are the most well-rounded team in the NFL, though.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, obviously they're both the number 1 seed for a reason.
Yeah,
I think the Ravens would be someone you don't want to play, and then 49ers. I mean, the only thing I'll say about 49ers is you've seen that if Purdy doesn't
if it's not Brock Purdy, it's Brock Turdy.
Then that will ruin the game. Is if your quarterback can't get it done.
Because it's not one of those Jimmy G's where he's just a he's just a gameplay caller, where like he's not going to turn the football over. When he's having a bad game, it's 5 interceptions. It's like
unfortunately that's what we've seen. Yeah. So that's why I would give the edge to the AFC team, the Ravens.
And it's really going to be I mean, it's like you can't make this up though. Like it's really going to be Packers, Cowboys, and it's really going to be Rams, Lions with that storyline, and then. Chiefs and Bills. It's going to be the same thing back in the AFC Championship when he went to OT and Allen never got the ball back. It's
a good script. It's a good script.
Good script. Hey, and I'll tell you what though, the one team I wouldn't want to be right now in my matchups is the Chiefs. I think Chiefs lose first round to the Bills if they play Bills. I think as a Chiefs fan, like if I'm a Chiefs fan, I mean Chiefs are probably my second favorite team because of my family on the AFC side, but like and you too, Fancy, right? It's like
Oh yeah,
you better be rooting against the Bills. You better be rooting for the Dolphins this weekend because you do not want to play the Bills
Well, and so
going into in January. It's like they are hot right now. Like,
and so what I will say though is, so with those scenarios we kind of played out, I think we're going to see a switch no matter what. I don't think this is how it's going to be set.
right.
I think what happens with all those different scenarios, I don't know what the landscape is going to be based on those scenarios.
yeah, I should save
We're
this,
not going to get these
and then
matchups.
next week when we do it, I should save this and then see what did change. That'd be
Well,
pretty cool.
yeah, I mean, because like we said, it's like Bills either are number 2 seed or they're out.
That's
So
crazy to me.
I
That's
don't know
so
who would be
wild.
the 6th seed then.
How does that work? They
Um,
have a better record.
Yeah, but you're going to have that. The problem is with the shitty South is you're going to have a divisional winner that gets in.
Right, which is the Jags right now, and the Bills have a better record than the Colts and Texans.
yeah.
So how could that be? I guess so. That's where I'm confused at. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying you're
I
wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just what
I think the Bills are 10-6, which that's better than the Texans. Oh, if the Bills lose though, they're 10-7. I think the Texans and Colts get put at 10-7 too.
Yeah,
I think they're 9 and yeah.
So Jags would be 10-7 as well.
I think they're 9-7 right now. Yeah, so if they win,
Jags would be 10-7 as well, and then
it probably goes to divisional or
Miami's 11. Miami's 12 wins there. Oh, Steelers would be 10 wins as well.
Got it.
Colts would be 10 wins as well. You know what I mean?
There'd be a lot of ties.
I wasn't questioning you. I was just like, fuck.
No, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, that is
like in my mind when I think Bills, I thought they already clinched. Like I thought they were in. So, but no. So we'll go into my segment. We're not, like I told you guys before the podcast, we're not going to do a stats within reach thing this time. It's something new. It is a fun game to play. It is something that we're going to do. But before we get there, I want to show this for me and Fancy. Check out this. Passing touchdowns this season. Joe Flacco, 13. Came in the last, 4 games, I believe now? And the Giants, Panthers, Titans, Steelers, and Jets have 13, 13, 12, 12, 11. So Joe Flacco in 4 games has out passing touchdown than all those teams.
And I think the Panthers is the only team to start the same quarterback all season out of those other ones.
Really?
I think so.
Wasn't Bryce Young hurt?
Who? Maybe? I don't remember. If he was, he might have sat out for like a little bit.
Or he got hurt during the game. That might have been that might have been the difference.
Very true. I swear he was out of game for like a concussion or something.
It was a concussion in the middle of a game. Yeah, I don't know if he sat out or not though. So.
Yeah, that's good. That's an interesting fact though.
Yeah. It's like everybody else. It's like when you talk about combined amongst multiple quarterbacks for multiple programs. It's
Titans
so
have
crazy.
had 3. Giants have had 3. Steelers have had 3.
Packers. The Jets have had 14.
What's crazy though is I'm trying to look up the stats here. That way we get some things. But we never really we talked about the Steelers and everything. But like the Steelers with Mason Rudolph, like all of a sudden are like playing with Big Ben again or something. It's like they're throwing 300 passes. Like what happened?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden they were completely different. I was like confused. Like
Myles Garrett's helmet hit to him last year. Just like knocked him into.
He did miss a game. He did miss a game.
He did.
Yep. He's played 15 games. This will be the 17th game this weekend. So he's missed one with a concussion. I was like, wow, it's crazy.
But with Mason Rudolph, I think it's one of those things whenever they got rid of their offensive coordinator and the Steelers started moving the ball better, it's like maybe Mason Rudolph works better in that system minus that guy as well.
And
maybe he's a better pick.
Yeah.
So it's like it's one of those things like people are like surprised. I'm like, shit, maybe this is the best spot for him to be right now.
Yeah, no doubt. But that leads us to my little segment here that I have. So obviously I'll explain when we get there. There's not much explaining to do, but it's one of these perfect lineup things that you guys get. So you guys get $15 to spend. Okay. So for example, if I math this the right way, obviously you have to pick one position each. It's quarterback, running back, tight end, and then double wide receiver. You see it like as the columns are right. That's the positions as they go right. So like CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Hopkins, Diggs, Hill, they're all in their one column.
So basically, you can only get one player from each.
Right. So the way that I did it was, I took Christian McCaffrey at $5. I took I took
You just write down
Justin
who I'm doing
Herbert.
real quick. It's easy.
I took Justin Herbert at $2, so that puts me at $7. And
Basically,
then
it's one from each row, right? Is what that adds up to.
Or did you? Or yes, but or did you do something?
me?
Yeah, did you do something crazy?
No. I'm just telling you guys what I did.
Okay.
I went Justin Herbert, $2. That's my quarterback. I went Christian McCaffrey, $5. That's my running back. I went Mark Andrews, my tight end, $3. That puts me at $10. So then what I did was I took Jamar Chase at $4 and Devontae Adams at $1. Or I'm sorry, I took Stephon Diggs at $4 and Devontae Adams at $1. No, I did take Chase. I'm sorry, I wrote that wrong. I took Chase and Devontae Adams.
All right, Nick Chubb's
And
on
I could
here.
have swapped it out with CeeDee Lamb. So
Nick Chubb's on here. Is it with a shattered knee or?
he's got
Yes.
no knees.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's healthy. Everyone on this. I mean, same thing with Mark Andrews. I picked Mark Andrews. He's done, but it's maybe perfect lineup going into the next season, if you will.
I've got Tyreek Hill,
$5,
Kittle,
$4, $9.
Andrews, AJ Brown, and
Hold on. Andrews.
Andrews,
You can't go
$3.
Kittle and Andrew.
Why not?
Double
You
tight
need
end?
you only have one tight end.
Oh, why do I only get one tight end?
What do you
Okay,
need?
I mean,
quarterback, a running back, a tight end,
I
and
have
a wide receiver.
I mean, why do I have? Okay, I mean, I picked 2 wide receivers and two tight ends.
Then you didn't pick a quarterback or a running back.
I didn't pick a running back.
That's what
I mean,
Fancy. It's vertical. You have to pick one in each. Like you have to have a quarterback, a running back, a tight end, and 2 wide receivers.
Well, I built everybody around the quarterback that I was happy to grab. Okay.
Well, you need a running back. You can't.
Okay, I'll take Saquon Barkley.
Yeah,
That's fine. I'll take
That's
Saquon Barkley and then Brown and then Lawrence. Yeah.
Oh, Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, it's interesting to see because I view those like I don't view Lawrence up there with Herbert, Allen, Burrow, Mahomes. I do view Lawrence as like very good still. I just don't view him as like the top level like those guys. Like I view those guys as top 5, and then I view Lawrence as like top 10. So it's not like he's bad. I just view it like a little bit differently. So it's like I'd rather have Allen or Herbert, but then like obviously you have room for age. I mean, those wide receivers are stacked. Like I think Hopkins should have been where CeeDee Lamb is at. Honestly, like,
yeah.
I think those could have been swapped. And same thing with like who was I looking at?
I think Evans and Adams.
Derrick Henry though too. I don't feel like should have been up as high. Who?
I think Evans and Adams are. I mean, it's not a big difference, but I do think that's a difference.
You think Evans and Adams would be changed?
Yeah,
Evans having a way better season than Adams.
Sure, this season, but I just think.
And
overall,
career-wise,
I think Adams is a better.
Oh yeah, I think talent-wise, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like
But
you're talking about with the quarterbacks and stuff. I mean,
yeah.
why is Herbert over Lawrence at all? Like, where's Herbert been? We've had that talk before about the Chargers, so it's
on
like
the bench with a fucking nub.
Yeah,
I think I'm saving $1. What do I get for saving $1?
You get
to lose.
You get this pen. Shout out DJ.
That's a great pen.
No, it actually is a really nice fucking pen. Actually, here you get $1 million.
Ayo,
Matt, $1 million.
Yeah, I'll take it.
There you go. Save $1, win $1 million. Isn't that what they say?
Not bad. That's a pretty good.
Not bad.
That's a pretty good turnaround.
Fancy at Kroger.
Yeah.
Matt's like, yeah, dude, Fancy's like, I did pick every position. I'm like, there's no way you did. He goes, oh, I don't have a running back. I'm like, you have to like, that's the whole point of the game is you have to have every position. And he's like, I don't want a running back. Like,
yeah.
Just fucking lying up there back there. No,
I was like, I got everybody throw for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I was like, shit.
I just think CMC is such a. I mean, dude, I couldn't imagine Herbert, CMC, CeeDee Lamb, and fucking Jamar Chase. That'd be crazy.
All right, so here's mine. So I did end up spending the right amount, but let me know if this is allowed. I guess I'm taking basically the $2 hollers. I'm taking Herbert, Chubb, and Evans, all at $2.
You're taking Evans over AJ Brown?
Well, just the money. I'm trying to.
What do you mean? They're the same cost.
Oh, he could have. Yeah. No, Evans.
Yeah, that's what I said too when I say Adams. Like, fuck, I should have took Lamb, and I was like, yeah, whatever.
Damn it. All right, yeah, that's fine. No, and then I've got Kittle, at $4 and Tyreek at $5.
Yeah. I figured you'd go Tyreek. To me, it's like CMC just changes the game so much. Like, could you imagine a team of Herbert, CMC, Mark Andrews, and then CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase? Like, that would be like gross. But yeah, no, I thought it would be fun to do. We haven't done one, and I mean, Fancy's trying to cheat on us. Doesn't want running backs, but he's got a Stanley though.
I do have Stanley. It's Lions blue.
Hey, go. Is he saying go Lions? Is that what he means?
I think so.
Think so? Do you have any?
I don't want any. I don't want anything to change because I want the Cowboys.
Matt, I have a apron for him. The Lions apron that we got at the thing. I still have it. I can send it over to Fancy. Fancy, when you grill, I can give you. There's a Lions.
Yeah, who was that sponsor? Yeah, when
I don't know. I think it was one of the banks.
When Jake came to the
MIC or what M or B something M bank or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were like, what the fuck is this? You even said you were like, we're not gonna use this.
Yeah, I mean that was the weirdest. Like
just re-gift it.
That's perfect for tailgating. How do you mean?
Your dad? No, dude, it's like paper thin, dude. Like if you move, it just rips. Like
yeah, it was basically just like a novelty type thing. It wasn't actually like.
Damn.
I don't know. Did they expect us to like all put them on in the stands and then like that's what we're supposed
parlays, dude? That's what they wanted you to do is look up parlays. Dude, I got a really nice Blackhawks one for the breast cancer when I went, like real nice knitted one. Like it was like high end, and I was like, nice. But no, that takes us into the matchups on the week. It comes down to a close matchup between me and Matt's. I went 12-4 this week. Fancy 11-5 and 10-6. Hey, the last 3 weeks we've been on the number. I mean, we've been on it with the picks. I think this week we have a lot of the same picks as well, just the way the matchups work. But I'm at 97 and 53. Matt's at 99 and 51. So I mean, all of us are gonna. I mean, me and Matt are gonna hit 100 for sure. Fancy would have to have a 15 in 1 week to hit 100.
I'm hitting them all this week.
Well, did you see where we're at on the year though?
Yeah,
on ESPN, we're same thing. We're two games apart. Oh no, 3 games apart. So within those first 7 weeks, we were only 1 game difference, and now the rest of them were 2 games different. So
yeah, I mean, when last year when we bet a bunch together, I mean, we very similar minded when it came to a lot of the matchups.
Yeah, 162 and 94, and you're 159 and 96. So yeah, those are great numbers as we're looking at the season predictions.
Yeah.
So.
And we talked about it. If you put a unit on every single one, you'd probably a good, up a good amount. Especially in some of those 50-50 games that we picked right. But tomorrow, because we're recording this on Friday, this will be the first podcast we ever upload on a Saturday. Every other episode's been uploaded on a Thursday, but with no Thursday night games anymore, no Monday night games. We got more time to do it throughout the week and have more updated more updated picks. That's why Matt picked the Ravens, because he had more time to think about it. And no, but the first game, you know what I just realized too, and I don't know if maybe this is something I've never realized. I noticed it when you were talking about the like what needs to happen. I was looking at this picture. Do you guys see anything that's going on in these games?
Football.
We've got a lot of consensus picks. Is that what you?
Every matchup is a divisional matchup.
Oh yeah, I think that's how it always ends, right?
Really?
I think so.
Yeah, I think
every year it's been like that.
I think the NFL
has
been smart enough
to do that because of the fact that it's like that.
Try to do that. But again, the thing.
How do you know?
So again, the thing that's why Fancy, you already alluded to it. The script, right? Why this year of all years did they swap out the Green Bay and Lions season-ending game with now we play?
You guys punished them last year.
That's
right?
What it typically does. It typically comes down. We get the shit end of it normally.
Well, they want the Packers to finally get in it. You know what I mean? You got to give them a bone.
I think the NFL knew what they were doing. They swapped that game around. They made it so that Green Bay can actually win that last game. To get in the playoffs.
You're saying they're giving you an easy hand there, Fancy.
Interesting.
Fighting words. But no, Steelers, Ravens. The entire Ravens team pretty much benched. Everyone knew it going into the week. Every football fan knew number 1 seed clinched. No one's gonna be playing.
So we all pick the Steelers. Yeah.
So we all pick the Steelers. That's gonna. You're gonna have to put like a fan vote up on the poll to see
I
like
hope.
whether or not it's allowed.
Hey, when the Ravens win, just remember Matt picked the Steelers.
Yeah,
You're right.
Imagine those. I mean, seriously, they got some good backups. You never know.
No, and you already mentioned it. It would be very interesting to see. They picked up Delvin Cook.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to get something in, right? You can't just come like.
I
imagine
imagine.
got cut. When did he get cut?
I imagine. I mean, I think they let him try to. I mean, because they weren't using him anyways. I think they let him go try to find a team to actually get some playing time. It would be interesting because you got to weigh two things. Do they kind of give him a tryout to see how they can utilize him, or are they risking him basically after not playing the whole season? Is he going to get hurt this game? They just signed him.
Or
yeah. So it's going to be interesting how they use him. I think they have to give him some touches, just to kind of see if he still got.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, still got it or not. So
we'll see. Dude, he was a monster, man, in Minnesota, and he's still young. I don't know why the Jets just like never really. I don't even know why the Jets really signed him. If I'm being honest, they have Breece Hall, but yeah. But I mean, Steelers should win that game, but we'll see what comes out of the Ravens. It'll be interesting to see because sometimes even those guys bench them. I mean, they're just a better coach team, better. You know what I mean? It just is. Those guys are, they want a spot in the playoffs or they want to be, whatever it is. And then Texans Colts. I'm surprised that we all went Texans in Indianapolis. I think we're all just kind of rooting for the Texans and CJ Stroud. And we all just, they're the best team in Texas, right, Fancy?
They are. They are the best team in Texas, and I think if CJ Stroud didn't miss those couple games, I don't think they're fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I truly hope that he has a really good game and he gets into playoffs because it kind of just like it puts in that foundation of like I am the guy. Like I know like we all know that he is, but it's like when you lead your team to playoffs after like I didn't think they win 5 games this season. It's like
right.
They could have easily been 12-5 like if he was there the whole year. Like
oh yeah.
So
and we get to keep saying how the Panthers made the wrong decision. At quarterback.
Yeah, which leads us to the Panthers game. They can keep the Bucks out of the playoffs in this one. We all picked the Bucks. We mentioned it. We mentioned it off the pod, but Matt, you had said, of course, the Bucks get an easy week against the Panthers. And the last time we said that was the Falcons versus the Panthers, and we all took the Falcons. We thought the Falcons were going to run away with the division, unfortunately, and the Panthers won. And we were like, wow, what happened? So. Do the Panthers still have some juice in them? They got those, what are the 25-cent tickets, whatever. It's like they might sell out.
I think they're $16 this week.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't.
Hey, they can play spoiler there. Yeah, that would be interesting if Adam Thielen goes off for 260. What was Cooper's number? 262 or something.
Something like that. Yep. And then Browns versus Bengals. I was like waiting throughout the week though to hear more about this game of whether or not Flacco's going to be in and like all this other stuff because the Browns clinched, right? So it's like, what are they really playing for? I don't think they can, like, they can't win the division, right? Like it's like you're not really playing for anything. You already clinched. So what are you? I don't know.
It could just be seeding, I guess.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that game because I'm sure the Bengals are going to want to win. I know they're done, but it's like you always want to. Like make Mike Vrabel, we'll get to that game, but it's like nobody likes losing. And then Lions versus Vikings, that's easy one for us. I don't even know what the Lions might do because I don't know if they can get the number 2 seed with like Fancy said. Sometimes teams are just playing for that seeding rather than playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. But if Vikings will definitely be trying to spoil that as their last game. And then we kind of just have a shit matchup with the Jets Patriots. All of us took the Jets. Bill Belichick's last home game as the Patriots head coach.
That one kind of scares me just because
it's the last game.
Patriots, if he basically scares the shit out of his team and says you have to win this last game, you're gonna do it for coach. So
yeah, but he doesn't have any say anymore, guys. He's done. He's packing his bags and going.
Yeah, he's still a scary dude.
Bill's done. It's a whole new era in New England. And then we have Saints, Falcons, Fancy's favorite team, the Saints. Derek Carr trying to get it done versus the Falcons.
That's the Aints.
That's the Aints.
The New Orleans Aints.
All the naysayers.
Yeah. Oh God.
Anyways, Matt, did you not see that clip?
No.
All right. Well,
Oh my gosh.
we'll enlighten you on that. It was on ESPN, so it's nothing bad. If you guys haven't seen it, look it up. It's hilarious. Jaguars Titans. Now Jaguars have lost what 5 out of the last 6.
Yeah,
right?
something like that. Yeah, they went on a.
Fancy's going with the Titans. Mike Vrabel kind of pumped you up there. You know, you really think
he's tired right now, but he pumped you up.
I think Vrabel is.
What'd you say?
I think he's fighting for his job. Yeah, I was yawning. Sorry. I think Vrabel's
you
fighting.
really do, huh? I mean, I don't disagree.
I'm not saying that like it's like at a risk, but I think he is got that in the back of his mind, like this will not help his case if he loses this game.
Yeah.
Same with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Peterson might be like, oh, I might not be as comfortable as I think I am if I don't win this game.
Especially when you start off 8-2, man. Like 8-2, we were like the Jags are legit. They're there. You know, they're a team. It's like so definitely an interesting game to watch for sure.
Yeah, I picked him because it's we talked about all these playoffs.
I mean, you got to win.
So I think even though we've seen the struggle and we've seen them, at their worst throughout these couple weeks, I think this is the game when you have one game win and you're in. I think that's why I'm locked into to them winning.
We're just locking in that they're going to get it done.
Yep.
And then we got Eagles Giants. We all took the Eagles. We got Seattle and Arizona, and Fancy took Arizona. Seattle needs to win this game, Fancy. You really think Arizona is going to come out and kind of spoil them at home?
You know what I think is interesting is both of those teams are the teams that they take down good teams.
Well, yeah, you're not. Wouldn't that have been hilarious? Fancy just goes, they're both birds. Like imagine just like it's just like
they're both.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, the Cardinals, half their wins are top juggernauts in the NFC.
Yeah, I mean they have and that's
Who are the other 2 wins against? Do we know? Do we remember? Their first one was against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Their last one was against the Eagles. But I can't remember them winning other games.
I'll tell you right now.
On that note, the Bears did clinch the number
Cowboys,
1 seed.
Falcons, Steelers, Eagles.
Falcons and Steelers, got it. Very interesting. And they said the Kyle Murray's staying there. I don't know if you guys saw that, but the guy came out and said that he's our guy. And we're sticking with him no matter what. So, a little confidence with they'll get a good draft pick. Maybe they'll get Marvin Harrison. Never know. Then the Packers and Bears, we all took the Packers. Surprised Matt didn't go against that and just hope that the Bears spoil them and play the Lions role from last year out of spite.
I wanted to. You saw me pick the Bears. I think last 2 weeks.
They won.
Right, but I mean, so I thought about it.
The Bears' time is due. You're like, I got away with it 2 times. I'm good.
Yeah, but then when I look back at it, the way Jordan Love's playing, and he can make the playoffs. I'd rather root for that story than than the spoiler story.
Yeah, I think the Packers and Rams are 2 of my and Texans are my favorite stories going into the playoffs. Like, Jordan Love. I mean. And so we talked about it like in the beginning of the podcast. We went on the rant about it, but it's like I texted you when he came in against the Eagles when Rodgers got hurt or whatever it was, or they were down or whatever it was, and I was like, dude, this guy,
he looks good.
And that was good. That was when our defense was really good, and I was like, he's torching our defense right now. And you're like, that's good, And it's like you said, it's very fair. It's like when Jalen Hurts brought us to the playoffs first year, I was like, I don't even know if he I still had questions at the end of that season. I was like, I don't know if he's the guy. Like, we went to the playoffs, we lost first round, but it's like. I didn't see anything crazy. It's like then that second year it was like, holy shit, like this guy can play. So
right,
we'll see next year, right? We'll see. I think if next year he has a very similar year, I think he's the guy. Then we all went Chiefs, Chargers. I don't think the Chiefs seed can change at all. So it'll be interesting to see who plays. I just don't think the Chargers team is even good enough to do anything. But this will be the one that hurts us. Watch and write this down. I'm gonna say the Chargers are gonna win this game. That we all picked the Chiefs. Fancy said out of all teams that he's been burned out on this season would have probably been the Chiefs when he's picked them. So they're gonna keep it up.
They've been weird this whole season.
Dude.
They've been so weird that.
And watch them just go to the Super Bowl too. Like watch them figure it out, right? Is it
And that's the thing, because you said that is why I've still picked them so many times, because I'm like, they very well could still go.
You're
I'm just saying like
me.
that. I'm just saying like that's the exact same like mind of that I have is that
you're just waiting for it, right? You're waiting for Andy Reid and them to figure it out and figure that thing out, and then it's just like it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
it's
imagine if it's somebody other than just Travis Kelce, which again he hasn't been lights out like he normally is. Rashid Rice, and then if you can get like 2 more receivers to actually catch
my thing was
passes, then
why it was never dabbled in. And maybe I don't understand the more football, like more in depth, because like we all don't know football compared to these guys. Like if you talk to a professional and they were talking about, we're like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Shout out Otis.
Yeah, and Carson Wentz and Jerick McKinnon, great catcher out of the backfield. Why not line him up a little bit more? Not in the backfield. I just mean like as a slot. Like the guy can catch, right? He's a veteran. It's like I'm not saying every play he's not going to be your Tyreek Hill. I'm just saying like why not just have that out there as like a guy that you trust, right? It's like I don't know, maybe there's a reason behind that I don't know about, but like that was my mindset was like why not? Like I can catch, like but no, interesting. We'll see. Like we said, we'll probably see the Chiefs make some crazy run, and then Huffy and the fans will never let it go. But the Raiders Broncos, we all picked the Raiders, which also kind of shocked me a little bit. Obviously, the Broncos benching everything. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Sean Payton and the whole GM situation. They're on the hot seat right now with the NFL after illegally doing what they did with Russell Wilson and his contract and all that stuff. I don't know all the legal sides behind that, but Broncos had a chance of making playoffs, and Sean Payton in the front office kind of screwed that one up. So I'd be pissed as a Bronco fan. But hey, go Raiders. And then we got Rams, 49ers. We all took the Rams. We all have so much confidence that Carson Wentz is a great NFL quarterback. That's why Fancy picked him. He said he was on the phone with Otis and just sold on him. Like,
yeah.
So this is a battle of who can sit out more players and still play productively. So it should be an interesting game in the sense that literally they're going to be without most of their superstars is my guess.
This is going to be one of those games that kind of suck to watch because it's like, who the fuck caught that pass? It's like, you got to stay away from bets. It's like who? It's like, who? Is that their assistant coach that just caught a slant? Like, it's like.
Yeah.
So, and then we got Cowboys, Commanders. I think we'd all be extremely happy if the Cowboys lost that game to the Commanders.
It could happen.
Firing. They benched Sam Howell, though, which kind of sucks. But, we'll see. And then arguably, besides the first 2 games that are on Saturday or today, I guess when this gets uploaded, besides those 2 games that kind of are going to be interesting to watch, probably the game of the week. Maybe the game of the season for these 2 teams.
Yep.
Dolphins make it no matter what. But the Bills, like you said, need to win or they are out. So kind of that, Matt, I was with you. I was on the Bills side, and then I was on the Dolphins side, and then I went to the Bills side, and I was like, the Dolphins side. I just like, I had to pick it. They're at home. Fancy said, it's kind of more of a homie pick for him, his buddy with, being a Dolphins fan and all that stuff.
But I do believe in the Dolphins. I don't want them to think.
I think.
Yeah, I do believe in them.
Yeah,
but if it was a little bit closer,
they can take out Josh
anybody.
Prescott. So
yeah, the AFC Cowboys.
Yeah, if they can take out the NFC Cowboys, they can take out the AFC Cowboys.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I like the Dolphins as well. Like I told you beforehand, I had the Dolphins going into before sending them to you. When you play out that scenario of, again, Bills can win, and kind of be the master of their destiny. I'm leaning towards that. Somehow Josh Allen can get it done. He's got to make the playoffs to be able to then lose a coin flip. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
If the Bills are out this year, if they don't even make the playoffs, what does that say for Josh Allen and the whole program?
I don't know. every time they play, every week, we've talked about it, playing down to their competition and everything like that, right? So I don't even want to think about them not having the chance again, but I'd almost flip your question around, like, what about if they make the playoffs and then it's another disappointing, opportunity? That's kind of how that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, like they make playoffs and they lose the Chiefs. What do you do?
And then lose again? That's almost the even more devastating part of it.
What's going on with Stephon Diggs?
I almost
He was the number.
checked out.
Does he
I think he's
play?
checked
He was
out.
top 3. He was top 3 wide receiver every week in fantasy football through the first 9 weeks, and since then he hasn't even reached top 25.
Yeah, I think he's over it.
Wow.
No, I think we
there's an
talked about it,
organizational
right?
issue.
What game was that we kind of talked about diva wide receivers, right? He was one of them, and sometimes you like that fire between your quarterback and your wide receiver. I think when you say for better or for worse, I think that transformed into him not being productive, not being the superstar he needs to be. Because what did we see through the first 6 weeks? We saw Amon-Ra, we saw AJ Brown, we saw him all hitting these 100-yard games, lighting it up for the first 6 weeks, and then he's been real quiet.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. You know what? We'd have to look through the episodes. I swear I brought up what do you do as the Bills if this is what do you? I mean, is it a rebuild time? How do you? I mean, you keep Josh Allen, right? But it's what do you do? James Cook is finally playing good. You got a good tight end, Dalton Kincaid. It's you have the comeback player of the year, DeMar Hamlin. It's just,
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's where's the issue? What are you highlighting as the problem when you just pointed out all those great
pump up
things?
speeches that Sean McDermott's giving. Maybe they're just not.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not explosive enough.
Maybe that's where Art Smith will go. He'll find himself in Buffalo.
I think Matt got that joke.
I wasn't listening. But
was that bad? Was that a bad one?
No, that's good.
Come on, Fancy.
I
said maybe Sean McDermott's not giving good enough speeches in the locker room. I said maybe they're just not explosive enough.
Yeah, I don't get it.
All right, I'll tell you about that. I'll tell you about it after the pod. But that leads us to everyone in the entire world's favorite segment with Matt, trivia. So let's head over to trivia, and Matt will take us from there.
All right, trivia time. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think of a good one this week. So we're gonna try
ending the regular season out on a dud.
I know what I wanted to do, and maybe we'll try to do it again. Try to do another rapid fire, because I have to. I got to change that one up since I destroyed you guys a couple weeks ago in rapid fire. So
recovered it.
So that being said, so for this week, we can walk through a little bit. This kind of did surprise me a little bit. It's not really NFL. I'll give you that hint as much. Go ahead and throw that up for me.
Oh, sorry.
If you could.
Yeah.
Product Hulu just fell asleep.
No, you're good. Name the top 5 sports stadiums by capacity. So
not professional sports, any sports.
Correct. Yep. So
it's gonna be all college.
Correct. Yeah, that's what was interesting to me when the first one I think of. I mean, I'll give you a hint.
Yeah, it's Michigan.
It's not the number one. But that's the reason I typically when I think of trivia questions for you guys, I kind of have one thing in mind, right, and then I kind of just dive deep from there. Right?
Yeah.
So on this list. And I say top 5, but I mean just kind of get in the ballpark of top 10 if you want, and you're good. But yeah, so the Big House. I don't know if you guys have had the pleasure of coming to Ann Arbor.
My brother has, but I haven't.
So I've been to there was a, and now I can't even think of what soccer match that was, but that was really cool. They had 2 professional teams come in and play at the Big House. So I've seen a soccer game as well as throughout the years for my whole childhood, right? Going to that stadium. So I just looked it up on Wikipedia, and they say these numbers might not be completely accurate. They say 107, so 100,007. I'm not saying that right now, right?
107,000.
107,601 is the number that they have for that capacity.
Wow.
I swear it was a little the record number was a little bit higher than that.
That's so
I know
crazy to think
I
about.
know I've got one of the shirts from one of those years from the games that I've been to that have those stats on there. I swear it was up to like 109 one of those years. So I don't know if these official numbers or not, but yeah,
Right.
that to me that's what I would say is the highest capacity. There's two above it, and I mean I'll just tell you you're never gonna be able to guess them. But if you can guess, if you want to try to guess like what sports would be above that, I guess it's not a
Probably soccer.
We're talking about U.S.
no everywhere.
Oh,
So that's why the top two are kind of misnomers because.
So is Michigan not in it?
So Michigan's number 3. But I kind of started as again, you're not going to know these ones, but it's just kind of interesting. What sport do you think is going to be so fancy? You say soccer.
I don't know which one at the top, but I know that there's one. Like maybe this is not because you just said it's not U.S. But like is I see. I don't know the name of the stadium, but I know
right.
I know gosh.
I'm trying to think of that, like where they play football in England, like between
No, I'm
Manchester
trying to.
U
It's like a motorsport and like and it's like, but it's also football too. It's like it's in Tennessee or maybe not. No, it is Tennessee. Tennessee has like a.
like the
It's like a
Brickyard
football.
500 and all
What is
that
it?
stuff. Yeah, with where they have the race.
Like, but what
Yeah,
did you
the
just say?
Brickyard 500 or whatever. That's like they call it. I think they just call it the Brickyard or
Or
something.
something motor, I thought. Maybe not.
I don't
Oh, no,
remember.
that's so here I'll just give you the top two just because. So
Or no, that's what it is. Bristol Motor isn't in that.
Oh yeah, Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
So the top two are in India. It's cricket.
What the fuck?
Has the biggest stadium.
Coliseum.
To me that blew my mind. 132,000
What?
capacity. Yeah, that's crazy.
Your thing cannot be right. Hold on. We're like not doing. It's not like we're like guessing anyways because I would not have.
No,
guessed
I want you
it.
to guess some. I want you to guess the colleges if you can throw a couple in there.
I know. I mean, I don't know what if the number. How big did you say it was?
So that's 132. Next one is
Penn State up there. I have a friend that went to Penn State and they said that they're like top in the country.
There you go. That's next.
It is top in the country.
That's next after Ann Arbor.
Oh,
yeah.
They weren't lying to me.
There you go.
So that's 4 then.
Correct.
So two are India, 3 is Ann Arbor, 4 is Penn State. So then 5 would be.
You tell me.
Another college.
But if you can name any of these.
Ohio.
There you go. Yep.
Is
Horseshoe. Yep. Horseshoe's got 102.
No, because
I think you said Tennessee, but they actually have their college stadium actually is on this list of top 10. Any other colleges come to mind that you can think of might have the highest capacity?
Ann Arbor doesn't have the highest capacity.
No, it does. So if we throw out the North Korea soccer team,
LSU,
and then yep, LSU's up there. Nice.
Do we count Tennessee?
So Tennessee's in top 10 as well. So you're missing one in between. LSU. I
don't think Alabama's up there, right?
Just sneak in. Top 10.
I mean, Texas has got to be up there, right, Fancy?
I don't know. I have no reference as far as like size of any of that shit. So
when I was near that, I think like
I mean I've been in
it,
but like it. I mean I don't know. It's just hard to get a reference.
Yeah.
Sometimes like the difference is like the difference of 1,000 people, and that's like one row.
Yeah. So they're all on the 100. They're all on the 100K.
Texas.
Texas is in there.
Texas A&M.
Yep. There you go. That's the one you were missing in the top. So,
but Georgia's not in there.
Not yet. They freaking.
No.
I'm surprised like Georgia, like Auburn.
So that's what's great. Yeah, that's what. So
or
as you're
Florida.
saying,
Florida Gators is what I was thinking of.
as you're saying that, right? That's the difference. It's a difference of 10,000 people, but they're 92. Georgia is,
which is bigger than a lot of NFL stadiums.
Absolutely. And by reference and that's what I was gonna try to see what you thought. Fancy, how many people at AT&T you think?
AT&T is like 80 something, I think, like 82 or.
I think it's 80 on the number.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna go see a tour. It was 80K like flat. Like
yeah. So how crazy is that? That's a difference of 20,000 people to a stadium like that. So
because don't get me, I think they said the Cowboys is 80K, and there's only 2 teams that have bigger stadiums than them, and it's the Packers and I mean I guess Giants and Jets because of MetLife. Maybe.
Yep. Correct. Yep. That is correct.
MetLife they do a lot of concerts and shit too, so it's like
Yep.
win-win. But dude, no, I
is
need to.
Madison Square Garden on there?
No,
just because they have a lot of stuff that goes on there too.
No,
so.
yeah, because it's like indoor, and so you
Yeah, they're kind of capped with an indoor place like that. It's kind of unfortunately since it's an older building too.
Bristol Motor Speedway. What I was talking about because they do motorsports and football there. 156,990.
You're crazy.
That's bigger than all the India.
You're crazy.
What? I'm looking at it. I guess it is Wikipedia, but like,
I just changed it.
I guess
fancy fucking edit. It literally says white trash fancy on there.
Yeah, so the list I'm looking at I don't see any of the motorsports or anything like that. So maybe it didn't classify it under.
But they even have football there too. That's what's.
Oh man, yeah. When it comes to the freaking capacity, it's so crazy.
Yeah. All right. Hey, that was still. I mean, it was like less trivia, more of like.
That's just a lesson.
Yeah,
I just at school right now.
Still cool to like learn.
It's gonna be on the test next week, guys.
Yeah.
You might want to write this down.
Yeah, the reason obviously I was thinking about this one is
because the Michigan
and obviously being in the national championship.
That's why I knew right away. I'm catching on to your antics. I'm catching on to
you see where
you ask this question. It's either the Lions or the Tigers or the Detroit Red Wings or like if you just guess one of those, you're probably
that'll be a good start, right?
So, but no, that's it for episode 11. Which is kind of crazy to think about 11 episodes already. Our last one of the 2023-24 season for the NFL. So things are going to get spicy going forward here because we're going to have less teams to talk about, less things to talk about. So if there's certain things you guys want to talk about, or if you guys would be interested in doing, I don't know what your guys' schedules are. We have to talk about it off stream, but if people are wanting a live stream of us watching maybe one of the playoff games or something like that, and I'm sure if we're all around, I mean, I would be down to maybe do something like that. But let us know down in the comments, something that you guys would like to see or like to talk about next week before we get into the playoffs of round 1. But other than that, you guys have anything to say?
No, I'm excited for tomorrow and Sunday.
Yeah.
Any picks for the college football national championship? Michigan? Still going Michigan?
Yeah, I mean
Michigan. Matt's not going to. Matt's not going to go. I think Michigan.
Go Huskies. Go Huskies. Washington got it.
Defense. That Michigan defense. Someone literally said someone needs to sign that defensive coordinator from the Michigan team because that fucking defense is nuts.
Hey, they said Harbaugh's probably going to the NFL again too.
Yeah, he's been scouting.
This is the last year for Michigan to be decent. They're going to be.
This is the last year for Michigan to win something.
Yeah, they're going to be Ohio State's bitch again. That's going to be
unbelievable.
Okay.
So I was gonna end it on a more positive note of Michigan being in the national championship. I mean that's awesome.
This is like the best year of your life. You guys signed Patrick Kane. The Lions are making the playoffs. Michigan's in the National Football Championship. It's
great, yeah.
And then what? Like Red Wings makes playoffs, Lions get first rounded, and Michigan literally loses.
Yeah,
it's like you're at the highest of highs, but you can also fall so far.
Yeah,
down.
it's the season of almost.
Maybe the Tigers will do something.
Couple years.
Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander come back, maybe. Miguel Cabrera, But no, that's it. That's it for this podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope to see you guys next week.
Alrighty.
Later.
Bye.
Yep.